Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of our colleagues, our partners and friends. My name is Anna Marie Cruz. I'm the Western Regional Manager at ICIC. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Intercity Capital Connections, or ICCC Washington kickoff. And before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. Please rename yourself as it appears on the screen. Feel free to include your organization. Keep your mic on mute for now. We will have a chance to ask questions and also have a conversation in our networking session. And turn on your video if you're able to, so we can see you. We have an intimate group today. We'd really like to get to know you. So in the chat box, please do tell us your name, your organization, and what drew you to today's event. We look forward to our conversation, and to kick us off, I'd like to now introduce our CEO for the Initiative for a Competitive Intercity, Steve Grossman.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I apologize if you hear any barking in the background. We have 3 dogs running around the house, and we'll do our best. Thank you, Anna Marie, for your leadership. Anna Marie, of course, is our Western Regional Manager. She's a member of ICIC's management team. I thank you, Anna Marie, for your leadership today and every day. I want to note that we're also joined by the Director of the Intercity Capital Connections Program, Diego Portillo Mazal. And I want to express appreciation to Cheryl Lalani, who's leading the West Washington State team, along with Maria Tata. Cheryl is one of the newest members of the ICCC team, and I'm so impressed by what I've seen so far. Cheryl, it's a pleasure working with you. I want to thank you all for joining us, and welcome to the kickoff event for our inaugural all Washington State ICCC cohort. Let me explain what I mean about our inaugural all Washington State cohort. Last year, after the events of May 25th and the racial justice and equity movement as it spread across the country, we stood up with the support of Kaiser Permanente, a combined virtual Colorado and Washington State cohort, which was so successful that we and Kaiser Permanente's leadership decided that each region deserved their own dedicated cohort in 2021. Last year's cohort, by the way, had 67 small businesses which were trained. 67% were woman-owned, and 67% were BIPOC-owned. We were thrilled with that cohort, and many of those alumni continue to learn, to be coached, to be mentored, and continue to grow during this challenging time. Needless to say, our most significant request of each of you is that you serve as a nominating partner to ensure that when we come together on November 9th and November 11th for our opening seminars for the Washington State cohort, we'll have an equally robust cohort ready to learn, access one-on-one coaching, access much needed capital, and create good paying jobs. You've heard me refer to ICIC and to ICCC. Some people find that a little confusing, so let me offer just a brief explanation about the origin of this organization and this unique program. It was in 1993, right after the LA uprising, that a student of Dr. Michael Porter from Harvard Business School went to him and said, "Dr. Porter, when are you going to turn your attention to build a strategy for our beleaguered cities?" Dr. Porter said, "It's a great idea, Willie. Let's do it together." They put a study group together in 1994. ICIC, or the Initiative for a Competitive Intercity, was created initially as a research organization to study under-resourced cities and to figure out how we could help revitalize them. But very quickly, we understood that you can't just think about this. You can't just do research. You've got to practice this kind of leadership and train small businesses. So in 2005, the Intercity Capital Connections Program was created. And it's interesting to note that by the end of this year, we'll have more than 6,000 alumni of the Intercity Capital Connections Program stretching across the country. None of this would have been possible without the leadership and unwavering support of Kaiser Permanente, whose team I'll acknowledge shortly. We cannot express too strongly our gratitude for Kaiser Permanente's investment of time, energy, and resources during the past 6 years, and for their commitment to underwrite 12 Intercity Capital Connections cohorts this year alone throughout the United States, including this one here in Washington State. The results under Kaiser Permanente's leadership have been immensely gratifying. 1,800 businesses trained, not including this year, more than 2,000 good-paying jobs created, and $90 million of debt and equity capital raised by those small businesses. That's impact, and we thank Kaiser for their foresight, for their generosity, for their leadership since we first met them at an economic summit back in 2015 in Detroit. We want to also thank Kaiser Permanente's partners, and those partners have become our partners. The AmerisourceBergen Foundation, Vizient, Cardinal Health, Blackstone Consulting, and EY, the former Ernst & Young. They're wonderful partners to Kaiser, and they've been so generous in supporting this program across the country, as well as here in Washington State. Turning our attention to our national partners, we want to thank them as well for their support of our work. Bank of America, in the upper left corner, I'll note, gave us the initial grant back in 2005 to create the Intercity Capital Connections program. And they're joined as national partners, helping us create 21 cohorts across the United States and across Canada in 2021 alone. Bank of America, FedEx, Regions Bank, Arcturus Impact Investors, Boston Consulting Group, Edward Jones, the National Business League, and Rose International. The real heroes of this program are our local partners, and we thank those whose logos are on the next page. Ventures, Renton Chamber of Commerce, Craft 3, Tacoma Urban League, and Ballard Alliance. And we certainly hope that by the time we kick off our cohort later this year, we'll have more logos on there of others who have said, count me in. I want to be a local partner. I want to help you in every way, shape, and form we can. Why are you, the local partners, the real heroes? Because it's your willingness to serve as nominating partners, coaches, and key advisors that enable us to recruit participants. People trust you all over Seattle, Greater Seattle, and Washington State. And it's that trust that we try to build every single day as we work to improve the quality of this program and have another successful cohort. What's our mission at ICIC? It's inclusive economic prosperity. But what do we get up every morning to care about and to try to fix? We want to close the racial wealth gap in this country. We want to end concentrated poverty. We want to improve wellness outcomes. And we believe the best way to accomplish this is to create sustainable small business ecosystems in under-resourced communities where life expectancy is often 20, 25 years or more, shorter than in more affluent communities. That's morally wrong, it's economically wrong, and we mean to change it. And that's why we're here. I've got a lot of wonderful friends to thank, and let me start with our colleagues from Kaiser Permanente. First, I want to thank Leila Batmangalij. Leila is Senior Program Manager, Community Health and Benefits for Kaiser Permanente. This is, as I said, the second Washington State cohort Kaiser sponsored, and Leila works and co-leads with Kim Wickland our Friday calls on behalf of KP Washington State. Leila was a strong nominator last year, nominating 33 individual businesses. I mentioned Kim Wickland, and I want to thank you, Kim, along with Leila. Kim, Director of Community Health and Benefits for Kaiser Permanente. She's been working every step of the way with Leila, nominated companies last year, and will do so again this year. And Leila, I hope you and Kim will convey to Susan Mullaney, President of Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Washington, our sincere appreciation for her commitment to and belief in this program as an important ingredient for community building. And finally, thanks to Denise Banuelos, Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity and Workforce Development Director for Kaiser Permanente. She'll be providing welcome remarks on behalf of Kaiser Permanente in just a few minutes. I mentioned Bank of America, our founding sponsor, thanks to Steve Fitzgerald, Charlie Henderson, and Jason Stapleton from the Bank of America Foundation. Appreciation to Beto Yarza. You'll hear from Beto shortly, Executive Director of Ventures, was a panelist last year. Thanks to Diane Dobson, whom you'll also hear from in a few moments, CEO of the Greater Renton Chamber of Commerce, was a top nominating partner last year. Always appreciation to Janice Green, President and CEO of WeBack Pacific, a Hall of Fame nominator for many, many years, and a strong advocate and nominator of ICIC programs in different parts of the country. And thanks to Tammy Morales, Seattle City Council member, position 2, the City of Seattle. We hope to work more closely this year than ever before with elected officials all over the country, and to have a City Council member and other members, elected officials, means so much because they're the ones who have their finger on the pulse in the neighborhoods. Thanks to our alumna who will be sharing thoughts. Julie Valdez, President and CEO of Pacific Office Solutions, was an alumna from the 2020 program and participated in 2019 as well. You'll hear from Julie shortly. And once again, to our top nominators from Washington State last year, I mentioned Diane Dobson, who nominated 13 companies, to Christian Morales, Food Business and Incubation Specialist from Ventures Nonprofit, who nominated 5 companies, to Tawina Nobles, President of the Tacoma Urban League, also a very strong nominator, to Anna Inclon, Business Lender for Craft 3, to Walter Acuna, Senior Business Lender, VP of Craft 3, who was on our panel last year, our Day 2 panel, which talks about resources that small businesses need in order to surge forward and grow at a stronger rate. And finally, to 2 of the leaders of Kaiser Permanente's Impact Spending Team in Oakland, EJ Nawasu, Head of Impact Spending, and Tommy Smith for their nominations. So there you have it. Kaiser Permanente leading the charge. Kaiser's partners, our national partners, our local partners, our alumni. That's what teamwork is all about. That's why we succeeded last year. That's why this year will be even more successful. And to talk a little bit about Kaiser Permanente and why this means so much to Kaiser Permanente, I'd like to introduce Denise Banuelos, as I said earlier, Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity and Workforce Development Director for Kaiser Permanente. She brings over 25 years of experience leading and implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in both the nonprofit and private sectors. She specializes in gender transition in the workplace and has developed inclusive policies, benefits, and training for non-binary and transgender employees. She has championed equity in the workplace and fair treatment for all employees, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, race or ethnic origin, and persons with disabilities. She's driven by her passion to make a difference for the good of the whole, no matter how difficult it may be. In other words, she's dedicated to make sure that no one is left out, demeaned, denigrated, or ever left behind. Denise, we're honored to hear your thoughts on behalf of Kaiser. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ICCC Nominator event. At Kaiser Permanente, our mission is to provide high-quality healthcare services and to improve the health of our members and the communities we serve. We believe that total health doesn't start or end at our doors or our medical facilities. It is fundamentally shaped by the social and economic conditions in our communities. That includes people having access to healthy food, transportation, housing, and economic opportunity. Over the past year, we've supported efforts to expand access to small businesses by sponsoring the ICCC program and supporting innovative entrepreneurs building their business here in the Washington region. We know that when our small businesses are healthy, our community and residents have a better chance of achieving total health. Since the beginning of 2020, COVID-19 has not only threatened our health, but also placed unprecedented economic hardship on small businesses. And sadly, small businesses owned by people of color have suffered the worst. Just as COVID-19 has taken a disproportionate toll on the health of people of color, it has taken a disproportionate toll on the wealth of people of color, as well as women, especially entrepreneurs. Now more than ever, small business leaders need access to capital. They need access to one-on-one coaching and capacity building education that the ICCC program provides. Last year, the Washington region hosted its first ICCC program, and we are very proud to say that 26 high-impact businesses successfully completed the program and learned valuable information to grow their businesses to reach new heights. You will hear from Julie Valdez from Pacific Office Solutions, LLC, an alumni who will share about the knowledge and network she gained through the ICCC program that enabled her to grow her business and reach new heights. In 2019, I had the opportunity to participate in the ICCC program in California as an observer and learn firsthand the types of support small businesses need to boost profits, from properly identifying their target market to unique ways to build capital. We want to see more success stories, which is why I am encouraging you today to nominate a community business to participate in this year's ICCC program. I look forward to witnessing the powerful impact these businesses will have in their communities. So thank you for joining us today. We seek to lift up small businesses owners who are so critical to the economic well-being of our communities. Thank you.
Well, Denise, you made the request. You laid out the foundation, the vision that Kaiser Permanente has in participating. I'll note that after the events of May 25th of last year, the Kaiser Permanente is stepping up and investing $100 million in diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, which ICIC is a part, means so much. Kaiser has always been a leader in every place in which they operate, and we're thrilled to have your remarks and thrilled to have you make that request that everybody here serves as a nominating partner. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Anna Marie Cruz, our Western Regional Manager, and she and Cheryl Alani will lay out the program overview, the nominated process, and we'll hear from our partners. Anna Marie?
Steve, thank you so much for your leadership and, as always, for your thoughtful remarks. And Denise, thank you for helping us kick off today's event and your commitment to the community. I also want to echo our gratitude to Kaiser Permanente and all of our partners for making this tuition-free program available throughout the state of Washington. As we focus on reopening, recovery, the ICCC program continues to serve the need to support our local businesses and give them that competitive edge. As we've seen through the pandemic, these businesses serve as the cornerstone of so many of our neighborhoods and are really vital to the well-being of our communities. I'd like to now provide more details about the ICCC program and the ways that we've adapted the content to focus on recovery and resiliency. So what is the Inner City Capital Connections program? In short, it's a cohort-based and flexible 40-hour mini MBA taken over 5 months, designed to position small businesses not only for resiliency, but sustainable growth. Business owners have the rare opportunity to work on the business instead of in the business. And the key takeaways for them: business owners will develop their business recovery strategies, not only to navigate the reopening, but position themselves for that long-term growth beyond the now. They'll gain a better understanding of the spectrum of capital, as well as the steps to becoming capital ready. They'll access a national network of other growth-minded small businesses to build their robust community of potential clients, partners, and collaborators. And finally, they will leverage one-on-one coaching for additional accountability to achieve their growth goals. More specifically, the 4 components of the program are the opening seminar, which are 2 half-days taking place November 9th and 11th, consisting of interactive education delivered by top-ranked management professors in 4 core subjects: finance, marketing, leadership, and strategy. Asynchronous digital learning content, which are additional modules and ongoing workshops and webinars made accessible to participants in a flexible, live, and on-demand format. Third, one-on-one coaching, which is delivered in partnership with, again, many of our partners, including some of those of you in the room. The MBDA, SBDC, SCORE are just examples of some of the technical assistance providers we partnered with. And then finally, the last component is the national conference, which brings together our businesses from across 21 markets for more opportunities to learn and connect. And this takes place in December, which will again be virtual in format. I also want to share that, again, this year we have a Canada cohort, which will be included in that national conference. We also this year have launched a brand new digital learning platform. I like to think of it as the Coursera for the ICCC program, which takes the 4 core subjects from our live training and enhances that with key deliverables that allow our entrepreneurs to have more meaningful conversations about their finances, marketing, leadership strategies, and action plan. What are the requirements of this program? We are looking for independently owned, nonprofit or for-profit corporations, partnerships, or proprietorships. These businesses must be past the proof of concept phase. They should have been in operation for at least 2 years or more. And just a note, ICCC does not accept startup companies. However, we partner with local organizations to ensure that the startups access the appropriate program at the stage of their business. We also look for businesses with headquarters with headquarters or their physical operations located in an economically distressed area or have more than 40% of their employees residing in economically distressed regions. I do want to make a note that for those of you who have known about the ICCC program prior to the pandemic, in which we required annual revenues of $500,000, we have relaxed these revenue requirements. And today we are looking for businesses with revenues of $100,000 and up. And we do make exceptions on a case-by-case basis. This is why it's important that you as nominators connect with us and connect with these businesses so that we can better understand the readiness of the businesses that you identify for the program. Now, to give you an idea of what our most recent cohort makeup is, our class of 2020, which is comprised of 1,220 businesses, had an average revenue of $798,000 per year. The majority of them were BIPOC and women-led. And people always ask, are there industries that we look for the ICCC program? While we are industry agnostic, these are the top industries that were represented: food services or hospitality, healthcare and social assistance, wholesale and retail trade, education, and construction. Now, today we are honored to have a special guest, Julie Valdez, to share her remarks and provide an insider look at the ICCC program as a multi-year participant. Julie is also a 2020 10,000 Small Businesses Program alum, and as an Eastern Washington native and president and CEO of Pacific Office Solutions, which is a small business focused on selling office, janitorial, and industrial supplies to the public sector. She has years of experience in not only navigating running a business, but also playing a leadership role in the community. And in fact, Julie also supports inner city organizations battling teen homelessness and family hunger. For the past 4 years, Pacific Office Solutions has sponsored Serving Up Christmas, where they provide complete Christmas dinners to Yakima Valley families in need. I hope I said that right. Julie spends her free time enjoying the Pacific Northwest by hiking and skiing with her 2 daughters. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Julie Valdez.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today to share some things that have how ICCC has really helped my company. I thought of 3 areas, probably the biggest impact ICCC has had and continues to have on my business is in the area of capital coaching. I have always leased. I've been in business 31 years, and I have always been a renter or has leased my facilities. So in 2017, I purchased a parcel of land, but to build an office and a warehouse, but I never could really get the project off the ground for one reason or another. Then last year when COVID hit, this project of building my facility became even further out of reach. But I'm happy to report that 2 weeks ago, I submitted my building project complete package to my city for a permit. In the midst of COVID, I never would have thought this was possible to move forward with this project. But I can say the ICCC program taught me about alternative financing, which made this all possible. So the one-on-one coaching and specifically the capital coaching that ICCC offers in this program is incredibly valuable and something that every small business should take advantage of. The second most impactful thing that ICCC has had on my business is the relevant programming. The sessions and webinars are taught by some of the nation's top college professors and program subject matter experts. Probably the one that has the most significant impact was a webinar that they sponsored about cybersecurity. It was in October of 2019. In that year, in that month, my company became almost a victim of a phishing scam that would have either caused me to go out of business or had a significant impact on my company. And it was a few weeks after that happened, I was able to watch a webinar about what small businesses can do to avoid any type of scams and threats to your company. And I then got cyber insurance, which I didn't even know was a thing at the time, but that definitely has had a huge impact on my business, getting that insurance and the peace of mind that I learned from that webinar. The lastly is I can't say enough about one of ICCC's goals that's of community building. And I'm so excited for a Washington State cohort. I was thinking about my business. I was thinking about the last 30 years, and I would say that in the 30 years, almost every single company I work with, the people I mentor, the business colleagues I have, the people I partner with on projects and on community projects, they're all in Washington State, and all the people I network with. So it's just a very powerful thing to have a cohort that's based in Washington. And I encourage you to sponsor a Washington business or to participate yourself in this valuable program.
Thank you so much, Julie. And I think you're also a testament of the type of access that other business owners have in terms of peer-to-peer mentoring. So thank you for your remarks and for all the work that you do in the community beyond your business. Now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague and our Washington cohort lead, Cheryl Lalani, to talk about the ways that we collaborate with our partners, as well as introduce our partners for their remarks.
Thank you, Anna Marie. Once again, my name is Cheryl Lalani, and I'm a program coordinator with the ICCC program. And I'm proud to introduce our key partners who will provide our partner remarks. You'll hear from Beto Yarza and Diane Dobson and their experience as our partners. Beto.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me and for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here as part of this cohort and all this great work that has been done. So I'm Beto Yarza, the Executive Director for Ventures Nonprofit. Ventures provide access to business training, capital, coaching, and hands-on learning opportunities for entrepreneurs with limited resources and unlimited potential in the Puget Sound area, Snohomish County and King County focus. What we have been doing, this is a work that we've been doing for 25 years. So we are the only CDFI in the region, in the Washington State region, that focus on individuals with unlimited potential but limited resources. So that means that we are in the spectrum of the work of CDFI in our region. We are like the first step, and we are a high collaborator with a lot of other CDFIs in our community. So we do offer everything that other CDFIs are offering in the area, but really kind of helping the individuals to get access to the training, the coaching, and everything that I have just shared, but helping them to build their credit, moving out of poverty, really making that business strong or ready to go to the next level. So our lending portfolio is pretty small because our loans go up to $35,000. So that's what the reason the huge collaboration with other CDFIs in our region. So when I get invited by Kaiser Permanente, by Leila, to be part of this cohort of this great opportunity, someone who is just helping to do like referring and promoting the event and making sure that this is a great resource for the community that we serve, I was super excited to be part of it, because I know that this is not it takes a village. I always say that this takes an effort, and to really support micro enterprises, the small businesses, the BIPOC community, immigrants, refugees, LGBTQ women, and all the communities that we've been serving as and the organization Adventures, we are gonna do it together collectively. I always think that sharing is caring, and it's like collaborative is better than competitive. So I've been myself doing this work for about 20 years. I'm an immigrant from Mexico, from Guadalajara. I also start my own business with only $250 selling jewelry at Fremont Sunday Market. So I really understand what are the challenges and the barriers of starting a business. So that's what I really love, the work that we're doing together as a community. And lastly, just wanna offer that definitely we need to do more of this work. I see the importance of small business right now in our community after COVID, but we need to continue doing that work. Unfortunately, in the past, we always kind of overlook a little bit of small business, and now this is our opportunity of how micro enterprises, how small business are the backbone of our economy. And if we don't support them, we are not going to be able to continue growing and closing the inequalities in our nation and in our community, especially the communities that we are serving. So thank you so much for the invitation. Just I saw the Anna Marie just post the website and my bio, but again, it's not just about me, it's about the community that is behind me. I'm the first executive director of Color who's leading, and the only one who come from the bottom to the top. I've been in the organization for 13 years now. So it's a pleasure to be here and being part of this network. So thank you for the invitation and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Beto. Now we'll hear from Diane Dobson from the Renton Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon and thank you. I'm Diane Dobson. I am the Chief Executive Officer for the Greater Renton Chamber of Commerce. I resumed my role as CEO at the end of February 2020, and we all know what happened in March. Just after being hired, I took our first whole family vacation, and by whole family, I mean parents, brothers, his children who are all in their early to mid 20s in that high risk age group for transmission, if you will. And my parents who are in their mid to late 80s and were looked at as the vulnerable and high risk age group. And we contemplated canceling that trip, but we didn't know when the opportunity would present itself again. So we took the precautions, masks, separate rooms, hand sanitizer, bleach. And the blessing was that we had the opportunity to come together as a family, discuss the challenges that we might be anticipating to face, especially my parents. And we developed a plan to support and embrace and help them through whatever we were about to experience. So when we returned and the world literally shut down, we were somewhat prepared. We had a plan, a support system for my parents, and a confidence, if you can call it that, with the plan and being able to discuss the same. But as we all learned, and I became very intimately familiar with when I returned from vacation, contrary to the time we had to prepare as a family, our businesses did not have that same opportunity. I remember when we heard, "You're shutting down for 2 weeks." So many businesses said, "It will never work. We will never make it. We can't survive." In Renton, particularly downtown Renton, we're what is considered an under-resourced community. And we're one of the most diverse cities in the nation. I believe we're currently the 9th most diverse city in the nation. And at a time when so many people felt alone and scared with COVID uncertainties looming overhead, ICIC was like a gift from above. I was contacted by Kaiser Permanente to nominate a couple of small businesses to participate in this cohort. I had not heard of the program myself, yet when I took the information to our small businesses, I was overwhelmed with the response. Yes, please. They were desperate for any sort of help, guidance, support, or resources. At a time of uncertainty and when businesses and small business owners felt so alone, we were able to bring in an unanticipated level of support for those small business owners. The ICIC program supplemented work that chambers do in ways that we were not able to, in providing a wealth of tools, resources, support, and mentorship above and beyond what we were capable of. We ended up with 13 nominations of small business owners who were small business owners of all demographics, varying in gender, gender identity, color, and race, predominantly LGBTQ women and BIPOC-owned businesses. And I am so appreciative and grateful to say, as we had businesses closing doors across the country and not just in our community, not one of those businesses nominated closed their doors. In fact, 3 of them expanded and franchised, and another was able to start an additional 2 ventures within the business that she was running. To those with the inner city capital connections, I say thank you. Not just for the work you've done in supporting our diverse small businesses here in Renton, but the work you're continuing to do across the nation. You're providing a much needed service and opportunity. To those that are here, I encourage you to utilize the programming that is available and offered through the ICCC program and nominate those businesses in your community. The tools and resources they will take away will not only help with the recovery and reopening post-COVID, but will give them the skills that will allow them to take their businesses to the next level in a compassionate and truly supportive environment. And you just cannot put a price tag on that. Thank you again, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share our story and to participate in the program.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Diane, and Beto, for sharing your experience as ICCC Partners. We look forward to working with you and can't wait to continue and expand upon our work this year. So as Steve mentioned earlier, one of the main ways that you can get involved with the ICCC program is by becoming a nominating partner. As a nominator, you would identify and nominate businesses in your network to participate in the ICCC program. We know that you all engage with business owners differently, so there are multiple ways that you can nominate businesses for ICCC. You can nominate by submitting a list of business owners with their contact information to us and letting them know that they've been nominated, hosting an information session and inviting your network to attend to learn more about the program, or sharing the program information via an email newsletter or through social media. For alumni in the room, we encourage you to nominate fellow business owners in your network who you feel can take advantage of ICCC's resources. Another opportunity to stay engaged with ICCC is by becoming a collaborator. As a collaborator with ICCC, we could work together to provide timely and relevant resources for our communities by utilizing our network of subject matter experts. Some examples of how we worked with collaborators include presenting webinars, volunteering as a capital and/or general business coach, and co-hosting panel discussions on relevant business topics. Similar to nominating, becoming a collaborator is a great way to gain exposure and build connections with other resource providers in the Washington State area and across the country. For our alumni in the room, you can get involved as a collaborator by hosting networking sessions and engaging with fellow alumni on relevant topics. On the next slide, we'll provide more details into the nomination process, from how to identify businesses to how you can submit your nominations. You'll get these slides tomorrow along with our nominator process packet. And then on the next slide, this is the nomination and application timeline for the Washington State program. As you can see, our nomination deadline is September 24th, so we encourage you to begin identifying and nominating businesses within the next month. As you saw in the previous slide, the Washington State opening seminar will take place in the mornings of November 9th and November 11th, and we encourage you to save the date and attend for a portion of the days. This is a great chance to see the program in action and check in on your nominees. Once again, the next step after today's kickoff is to nominate businesses for the program and follow up about becoming a collaborator. Please feel free to reach out to Steve, Anna Marie, or me with any questions, concerns, and nominations. We look forward to hearing from you. Now we'd like to open it up to any questions from the audience.
And feel free to drop those questions in the chat box if you are you not in the position to come off mic. So any questions at all?
Yes, my name is Lawrence Petrie. I'm the Central Area Chamber of Commerce president. I have a couple of questions, and local artists. I didn't hear anything about art businesses, people that are in the arts who are running their own businesses. Is that something also that the ICC would take as nominations?
We would, absolutely. They are business people after all.
Right.
Maybe mildly different in some of their marketing, but that's about it. So yes, absolutely. We will take that into consideration.
And secondly, there were some questions. I know that Cheryl, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, that's fine.
Is that right?
It's Cheryl.
Cheryl. Yeah, she had mentioned that these slides would be available. I know that I'm a newbie at this, and as the president of the Central Area Chamber of Commerce, I would love to get more detailed information so that I could go out and share this information, not only the stories of those that like Julie and Diane, but also ventures. I'd love to get more information from the chamber, for the chamber itself. We are in the process of restarting. Our mentor or founder had passed away, and so I have brought it back. We have finally got our back our 501c3, and I've been doing this by myself. And so I'm looking for ways to increase productivity and also be able to connect with other businesses and link out. So I'm looking for, I guess you would say, help indirectly. So I know the chamber would be interested in working with you guys because there are a lot of things that I still need to learn.
So we would love to have you in the cohort as well. But in addition to the slides, we will also send you some pieces that are basically marketing pieces for the business owners to understand
Yes.
what the program is.
Yes.
And a nominator packet that has some language that we've seen has worked for other organizations and promoting the program.
Yes.
etc. So any additional things that you will need as you move along, please feel free to just email us back and say, hey, I saw this and I saw this, but I still need this little piece, and we'll work with you to make sure that you can get the word out.
I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Seeing in the chat box, how many businesses are typically in each cohort? We run cohorts usually between 50 and somewhere around 80 businesses. We last year did expand and accepted as many as 100 businesses in some of the cohorts, but it does start to get difficult to create really interactive sessions once you get to that point. So usually between 50 and 75 businesses is the answer. I know Anna Marie may have mentioned this, but of course the entire program is free of charge to the business owners. That includes all the coaching and everything else. So there is no cost to the program. Or the national conference is also virtual this year, so there's no travel costs associated either. Any other questions from the audience? More information about social and nonprofits that qualify, absolutely. Again, the program is not specifically designed to support nonprofits, but again, nonprofits are businesses that have to have a strategy, have to have marketing strategy, have to deal with talent and building teams and building culture. So there is obviously a lot of the things that one apply to nonprofits, and we have built specific content and webinars for nonprofits and partnerships with other organizations that support nonprofits. So roughly, I would say 10% of the organizations that go through the program on any given year are nonprofits. And then we do have a number of businesses that are have social missions or B Corps or have other forms of employee ownership. Again, they all find some part of this that applies to them. We've also had a number of questions about whether businesses that are not actively looking for capital will get benefit from this program. And the answer is obvious, is yes. We find that a number of businesses first have all those other items that I just talked about: strategy, marketing, talent management, and things like cybersecurity and how to build your website or do website analytics. So there's a lot of content for people who are not actively looking for capital. The other side of that is that we find that a number of business owners have, particularly those in BIPOC communities, have put themselves out of the capital market just because they feel that it's not built to support them, and they may not have ever heard of a CDFI or an impact investor or some of the other support structures that are here, and it may not be something that they're considering today, but having the knowledge will open the doors to that being a decision a year from now, 2 years from now, or at some other point in their journey. I know Anna Marie was off mic due to some construction in the background in her house, but any other questions from the audience?
How long before the packages are sent out? I'm sorry.
We will get those out to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
And Cheryl, do you want to break us off into a couple of networking groups or?
Yeah, so once again, thank you all for attending today. The remainder of the kickoff event is going to be a networking session where you can connect with others in the room. And in your breakout rooms, we encourage you to introduce yourself and your organization, share any updates or initiatives that you're working on, and identify any opportunities to stay connected. We'll send out a list of the attendees so that you can stay connected. Happy networking. I'll put you in your breakout.